Hey kids, this is Ivan. How you doing? Excuse these noisy air conditioner. It's like really hot and I'm just not about to suffer. There's a whole bunch of things I really have been meaning to talk about. Some topics that have come up in various groups I'm involved in. Some great questions that some commenters have asked me that I really want to get back to. Some other things have been rolling around in my head, some experiences I've had, and I've just had no time. And when I've had time, I've just had other things going on. So anyhow, I had to put all those in the back burner because I thought about something today, and it really kind of struck me, and I have to actually go out and play a gig in a little while, but I wanted to make this video because it's something that just kind of really hit me all of a sudden. And I've been playing in a play-by-email game of Mithras, which has been a lot of fun. I've also been playing in a play-by-Facebook post game of Mask, which has also been kind of fun. But I've noticed something in both games, but I really want to talk about the play-by-email Mithras game more, because I think they have some different dynamics going on, different groups of players, different types of game. But I've noticed there's a real strange resistance, at least on my part, to act decisively when I'm posting in this game. And almost as if there's a bit of a lack of leadership in the group. Now I'm playing, Runeslinger's running it, and also the other players are Lee, your humble game master, and Uncle Riotous. So Lee and Louis are playing, with me in Anthony's game. And we had one player drop out, and it looks like we're going to get another player that's going to enter into the game, which is great, bring us back up to a quartet of players. However, I've just happened to notice that a lot of times there's a resistance. Sometimes I think on all of our parts we act, but it's not as decisive as I normally, at least for me, it's not as decisive as I normally would act. I'm not sure if they're experiencing the same thing that I am. And I really like play-by-post. I'm enjoying playing by email as well. I had a very good experience as my first experience, so I think that's really colored and affected my reaction to it. But it got me thinking about why this happens to be. And I think, at least for me, there's a bit of reluctance to say too much, on my turn. Maybe like run roughshod over the other players. And often I think about it, often when we're playing, our stated actions as players are kind of modulated by the game master. And I don't just mean in the sense of well, actually, if you do this, this is the consequence here. We've actually had this discussion recently in a group about just to do the thing, just do the thing. Play your character, all this kind of stuff. Play the fiction, and we'll talk about the mechanics, as they happen. But also, they can feed you some more information. Sometimes the other players feed you some more information, and it makes me realize this kind of experience just how much communication and dialogue and discussion is going on during our turn, whatever that happens to be. Because I noticed that by myself it feels a little bit more isolated. I'm unsure of how much should I say, how much should I narrate that I'm going to do, how much of my intent should I narrate. Am I waiting for other people to kind of chime in with what they're doing, or give me those kind of looks of approval or disapproval, or the rolled eyes, or are you serious, or all the stuff that we kind of do with each other around the table, or those looks of glee and anticipation, the cues from the game master, the cues from the other player. There's so much communication that happens at the table, and we miss a lot of that when we play in something like Hangouts or in Discord. I've talked about that ad nauseum, the fact that there's a lot of communication that's missing. But it seems like there's even more where, at least for me, at the end of the day, what it tends to help cause is a bit of reluctance to say too much, to be too decisive. So I'm going to try to work on that and see if I can be a little bit more decisive in those games. I'm going to talk with the other fellows and see if there's a way that we can kind of get over that hump, because I've noticed sometimes things are dragging a little bit. And I'm playing my character just a little bit differently than I normally would. I'm kind of hesitating, waiting for more information, which I know simply isn't coming. I was very fortunate in my first play-by-post game that for the most part, we all posted 2 or 3 times a day, so it was very active. You got a lot more information going on, and if we weren't going to be around, we would let the other people know. In this game, there's nothing wrong with it, but we're kind of about a post a day, and part of it is that we are literally a world apart. I'm dealing with people I'm in the Eastern time zone in America. I have 2 people in England and then another person in Korea. So we have quite a time zone thing going on. And the player that we're going to add is probably going to be in San Francisco. So that's going to be another challenge. But despite all that, I think it's not just the infrequency of posting. I think there's a little bit of reluctance, at least on my part, to be more decisive, to narrate more intention, to narrate more of what I want to do, or actions or what have you, because I feel like I'm going to run too roughshod over other people, that I might be missing some cues or some reactions from the game master and the other players. And so I'm sure there's a way to work around that, but it struck me as very interesting because, of course, the flip side of that is there's so much interaction going on in a regular standard game where we're all at the table, or even when we're playing in Hangouts or Discord. Even it's a lesser extent, but there's so much communication. Even during what is supposed to be my turn. You ever experience with that? Tell me about it. Have a good one, kids.